Now let's move on to our next speaker that concludes our session today. It is Alexander Dmitriev from IBM, who will speak about artificial intelligence for the good. And Alexander has prepared a video presentation to us, and right now and after the presentation you will get information on IBM Cloud promo codes, and their number is limited. Let us start the video. Good evening. I'm Alexander Dmitriev, Territory Partner Architect of IBM. And today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, what it gives us, how we see it, and why we need it. Actually, artificial intelligence is around us in our daily life, practically everywhere. We just do not notice that. And if we do, then we just don't pay attention to it. It is embedded into the programs that service our mobile phones, our PCs. It meets us in the stores, and that is all based in pretty serious and deep developments that are rooted pretty long ago in history. What is artificial intelligence? Scientists argue about that, and there are huge numbers of definitions. But to put it simply, artificial intelligence is not a robot. It is not a complex technical system. That is any system that enables us to strengthen our mind capabilities. On this slide, we can see Olduvai Valley, that is a large rift in Africa, where almost over 3 million years ago, human beings appeared. So it is human cradle. And then they learned to control fire, and that is a place where there are both highs and lows and different climates, tropics and northern climates, and the human being was born here and started thinking. When they started thinking and hunting and developing their competences, as we would put now, it turned out that they needed to reinforce their muscles, their physical strength, and their mind. As for the muscles, it is clear they took a stone, chipped some bits of it, and received a chopper, the first muscle force multiplier, we can say, right? And a human with a chopper is stronger than an animal, and the same stone was the first element of artificial intelligence, and it is truly so, because it is the stones that took part in the first attempts of counting. When fingers were not enough, the human being took stones and started counting with their help, putting them into a pile. That is the most primitive, the most ancient, and the easiest way of a certain technical system that can act as a mind strength multiplier. We might not really pay attention to it, but technologies and approaches to intelligence multipliers and artificial intelligence, as well as physical strength multiplier. And I give you this example for clarity. For hundreds and thousands of years has been developing, and this approach has not changed up to now. The methods that are applied today in artificial intelligence development were developed really very long ago. For example, we have come up with a stick, a baton, a stone that is sharpened. We also have a certain string, and we put it into modules and receive new technical systems that multiply our force. A spear that increases the heat range and force, and a bow, an invention of genius of humankind, with the help of which we can hit from bushes our targets at large distance. Likewise, in modular type with several kinds of technical elements, mind strength multipliers or AI were created. For example, abacus, a Greek word that means counting frames. Here you can see that it is the same set of stones, but it is already put to order and into a wooden framework. And it is like beads, accounting beads that accountants counted in the previous century, not calculators, right? That is abacus as well. And it is a modular, again, multiplier for both physical and mental strength. Another important principle is an algorithm. How can we work with a technical system? Algorithms were also created in the ancient times, and they also dealt with AI. The very famous Genghis Khan puzzle, when the warriors went to the wars, and that was hundreds of thousands of peoples from huge territories, they needed to at least approximately understand how many of them returned and how many died in action. It was impossible to count all of them, and I'm sure that Genghis Khan and the people around him could not count that much. What did they do? Again, they used the stones. When they left to the war, each warrior took a stone and going through a certain place, they put this stone. Therefore, a mound was formed. When they returned, they took one stone from this mound and threw it away somewhere in the steppe, whereas those who did not return, their stones were left in this burial mound that is now really certain places, spots of prayer for many people living there. And again, what is important here? When we cannot cope with a task, we come up with a certain algorithm that gives us something that helps us cope with the task. Hundreds and thousands of years have passed, and now this system, the same systems look like this in evolution. So abacus turned into a powerful server, and here you can see the last generation server Power 10 from IBM, the most powerful computing system that can be compared with a field of supercomputers of a dozen of years ago, and an exoskeleton that is something that protects a person and helps strengthen their emotions. But the principles embedded here were developed long ago. As for the AI systems are many in numbers, we can today focus on chatbots as one of the elements that are around us in our daily life.
Actually, mathematically, it's a well-known problem, a problem of choice, a dichotomy. When to make the choice, you have like a lot of forks, corridors. If you need to qualify, well, there is a tree. You need to follow, like serpents, reptiles, fish, or bird, moving, following the tree branch, you reach the object. It's like a tree with just one fruit. And branches help us where to go, how to turn. And finally, you reach the fruit you need. This is the algorithm. Chatbot is based on it. Everyone would recognize the algorithm. If you call a company customer support, you need to ask for to know something about a product or a service. We would call them, and a robot AI would answer. If you want this, press 1. If you want this, press 2. And we turn and reach the fruit we need. And here comes a series of problems. One is with synonyms, slang, or if we want two objects to open a credit card and get a discount, and a chatbot would be in a difficult situation. The human being would resolve it. Maybe some words are not in chatbot's vocabulary. It will not recognize what to answer. If you need a bank card for an operation, a transaction, the AI, the chatbot, can be in trouble when trying to make the choice. So there are a number of problems, and we need to offer practical solutions for them. There are context understanding problems and other problems that emerge, and they lead to the situation, as statistics show, clients, nearly half of clients' requests are not responded when you use most of the chatbots. Actually, 3/3 of conversation is the search for information, and only 1/4 of for client communication. Operators are overloaded, but if there is a poor experience with the chatbot, clients will reject the technology and will try to contact operator. And that's why we have new methods, and I told about it, the principles for building artificial intelligence that would resolve all those tasks and problems. Let's see what's the difference between chatbot based on IBM solution called Watson Assistant. From what's the difference with other approaches? First of all, we need to understand the tasks. What is the target audience of the chatbots? Then there is a definition of classes of requests based on dialogue data already available. It means that the tree that normally comes out of people's mind, like a developer team would say, we have shopping and a number of products. What can we offer? The approach is outdated, although it's used everywhere. Actually, information is mined from dialogues that already exist. There is a pilot project. The system analyzes what are classes and categories. So it pulls data from dialogues. You can also upload information from the catalog of products and services, and then you build the right tree, and the client will work and press button 1 or button 2. What's important, you need to understand the client's language as we talk about the slang. So you need to upload vocabulary, no matter how the client will formulate it. A bank card, credit card, or plastic card. If you have the tree and the vocabulary, the chatbot will understand it. But it's not all. You need to teach chatbots on real dialogues. You add some meanings. You remove errors. you test the system, and then it's ready for work, and we don't have to just think on how to build it, but we are guided by real existing conversations of the client, and we take information from there. That's important to make the problem even clearer. What's needed when you build a chatbot? If formally and it's written, the Department of Lending to individuals must provide information on loans issued under the loan program from the period from day 1 to day 2. But people in real life would say that report people ask for credit department people information for July. No chatbox would understand it. It's industry-related problems, and the problem for many systems for artificial intelligence product is that they can't understand that a human being is much richer. There is mimics, non-verbal tools, sarcasm. There is Watson, IBM Watson chatbox understands the sarcasms if it's in the text. It's an emotional analysis. It's possible to analyze the client and understand if the speech connotation is negative or positive. And it helps a lot to understand what the customer is actually saying, and you resolve the task. There is less requests to the operator, and you have to more for AI to do. Artificial intelligence that actually supports and boosts our mind. Also, there is decision support system, a system that increases the capability of analysis at big companies. There are companies that help to resolve industrial tasks in oil and gas industry. It's actually the same chatbox, but it's comprehensive, complex, and you have a colossal amount of data. They are uploaded into the system and processed, and a human knows on what decisions to take, the procedures. So it's chat bot, but multiplied by a million times. Here we can see a real interface of a system integrated in a big Australian company. What's Willow? It's a global company with a lot of business units, and there was a decision support system, a very mighty chat box that allows specialists to talk to the system and get answers on where are some sites, locations, ships, where is a certain car at the moment, or a tanker ship, what are characteristics and properties of the site, if it's possible for a helicopter to land at a certain location. And the system would produce the correct decision for the helicopter not to break any platform because its weight is higher than allowed by the documentation. These are systems that communicate with people using natural language. A person would ask it some questions, and the AI product would look for the information and give an answer. It works, Watson works in Russian, in all European languages. As for English, originally it was developed in a poor language. Originally the language was poor, but it's able to argue, have debates online with a human. So it went, it was online, and nobody could even suspect that it would be artificial intelligence, not human. So we are at the point that computer led us to the systems, to the world of the systems that are around us. They contain AI elements, but we don't even notice it. It will further evolve, get deeper into our lives, and it will make life for operators, businessmen, and other specialists easier. So that's why we're saying AI is for the good. If you have questions on artificial intelligence, or if you have other questions, please write, email Alexander Dmitriev, Dmitriev at ru.ibm.com. We'll tell you about cloud solutions, Cloud Pack, software developed by IBM, how to become IBM partner, and we have workshops for partners and clients. We solve industrial challenges. We have data centers for Russia and CIS. We will tell you everything if you contact us. Thanks for your attention. Okay, Mr. Dmitriev, thanks for your presentations. Thanks for the promo codes.